So abandoned buildings and abandoned railway are really popular on YouTube. We're not about that on our channel, but we are going to cover some today. Good morning from University Hill, or should I say the bottom of it, SU campus, the JMA Dome, former Carrier Dome behind us. Locally, just call it the Dome. Today we are going to talk about OnTrack, which was a small rail system through Syracuse, and it started operations in 1994, and at that point Syracuse was the smallest, or one of the smallest cities with a rail system in it. And we're going to talk about it a little bit further on in the video, but today we're going to go across this street and look at what's kind of left of this old station. Really hard to find a parking spot here. There are some paid parking spots that I utilized, but just past this forest pretty much. It's been closed for a while. And here sits one of the stations. Absolute last thing I'm going to do is jump any fences or climb into one of these stations. It's been a while since they've operated, so we're going to enjoy them from afar. Just want to document them in case, you know, they take them down or something. You can see some of the lighting is falling down. Oh, rust, etc. Some people went in there and graffitied it. But this is still an active line, so if you're on a freight train, this is what would go through here. Looking through the fence, you can see the pavement down there with the markings so you don't step onto an unsafe area. I was so interested in getting this started that I forgot the intro. Hello again, or hello for the first time. I'm Ken. We are in Syracuse, New York, looking at some of these abandoned stations. Kind of an interesting history too, as I just said. We're going to go down this line and look at all of these platforms. They had a moderate success with this line, and I'll show you where it went. Kind of through the city, and it also on certain days would even go down south to Jamesville Beach in Jamesville, New York. And then there was plans to connect it to the bus and rail station that was new at the time, and then also to the ballpark. So usually we highlight things to do on our channel and things to go around and see, and this is something from the past, a relic you could say, and I would not recommend coming down here, especially by yourself. I should take my own advice, I guess. But if you wanted to see this, here it is. Looking south down the tracks here as you leave campus. So I know the road noise is from 81, going past just right over there. And we're actually going to head down the line that way, and I'll show you the next stop. So one of the reasons why they built this particular station here is because SU students could ride to, at the time, Carousel Mall, Destiny USA now, one of the bigger malls in New York State. And this opened up a whole new way to get to the game. You didn't have to drive your car and get stuck in traffic on 81 and 690, you could just park at the mall, park downtown, walk right up the hill to go see a SU game. So our next stop brings us to what was called the trolley lot, or might still be called the trolley lot at one point. It was down in Armory Square, and this overpass was built for the rails back when they decided they didn't want trains going right through the city and, at street level. So we're gonna actually go the other side of this, right through this tunnel. Here's the post with a sign in front of it: Armory Square, Historical Business District, Museum of Science and Technology. This is the old armory. And just over here, we have this building, which was stop number 2 from, or stop number 1 from the campus. And you would go in the building someplace and catch the OnTrack. And a lot of these buildings are Art Deco styled, because that's when they built the platforms through town here for the rail to go through. It's currently parking for Jefferson Clinton Hotel. This is a place called Platform. Looks like it might be weightlifting. There's another sign for it over there. And I think this is where you went in. And there's no gate here. I wonder. Guess if someone's gonna yell at me, they'll yell at me. Yeah. Oh, it's a parking lot up here. And there's the platform. As a police car screams down the street in the distance, that red building is a venue called Rail Line, appropriately named, looking kind of east, and then the track goes south down towards that way. Oh, they have reached their destination. And this destination would have been downtown Syracuse, Armory Square. There's the platform right there. And so you would have gotten off OnTrack right here on this line. Actually, where that diesel is right now. The glaring sun in my eyes, but I'm still gonna read a post from the Urban Phoenix online. I'll leave his website down in the description box down below. And he has a really great article if you want to read it. Onondaga County and the New York Susquehanna and Western Railroad partnered to create and operate OnTrack, which would exist on a section of underused Conrail, now CSX, track that was sold to Onondaga County Industrial Development Agency for $1. The OCIDS leased the track to the NYSW for a bargain price, allowing them to operate freight service in exchange for operating passenger services using 4 acquired Bud rail cars, as well as extensive tax breaks. Every so often you'll see some tanker cars parked up here, and on the other side over there, that's where the trolley lot is, where we started this segment. As you can see, this station's actually in better shape. The one down by lower campus, that's definitely in worse shape than this one. So as usual, I will put all of the information that you need to know down below. If you have anything you'd like to comment on, definitely leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. If you like this video, consider subscribing, but also click thumbs up. And we're gonna head down the tracks a little further to see the next platform. So let's go. These are the Bud cars that were actually used on this line. They bought 3 of these, and they were diesel powered. And there was actually a 4th one that was never made it past Utica, and that was mainly used for parts. They stored it out in Utica. Most of the maintenance was done out in the Armory Square station where we were just at. And this is the final stop for the line, but not our last stop. You can see quite the walk to the station as a CSX train goes by. thought we'd see at least one today. So you'll actually see Amtrak go down here too. The transportation center is down that way just a little bit, and over that way is the Empire State Trail with the new bridge, pedestrian bridge. We did a video from there a few years ago. I'm gonna cross this busy road for some reason. I'm gonna do it without the stoplights because they end functionality quite a few years ago, but I'm gonna wait till this train passes to do it. So as I was saying, a long way to walk, especially in snow out here from the mall. Let's see if we can't go over there. It looks like it's open. So at one point you would push this crosswalk and the lights would turn red for you, but you can see the antiquated button. More of a decorative station. Of course, I have no choice but to go in here because there's no place to stand outside of it. Every once in a while you'll see, again, some cars parked along the edge here. And they used to have a sign up above that said Carousel Center. Long gone. It seems like someone was very nervous here. Had all kinds of cigarettes. Waiting for the OnTrack that'll never come. So OnTrack carried in its first 3 months 50,000 people. 50,000 people rode this, and it had a pretty successful 9 years, and then kind of interest waned, and you know, with this station being so far, and there was really no demand for such a thing, I guess. So it fell on hard times and they closed it up before future plans could ever come to fruition. And now there's things growing in the tracks, but there's something further down that would have probably connected it all, and I'll tell you about why it didn't work out. Now we're just across the street from the mall. We went under 81 and we are at the Amtrak station and Greyhound station, the William F. Walsh Regional Transportation Center. It's the train lobby right there and the bus lobby. And heck, it would have been helpful if OnTrack went that little distance to go over here. And you can actually see the platform has a big gate going across this side. So there were plans when this building was built to bring OnTrack over here, or a second line at least. Little space right there. A station that never was. Syracuse marked on the side of the platform. So now we're actually going to go down to where the final planned stop was going to be. The final platform. Secret platform. So as I'm walking from the bus terminal here. Today is Saturday and the farmer's market's going on. It's about 10 And if you want to know what the farmers market looks like in Syracuse, this is the thing to do. Sunday is obviously a flea market day, but packed parking lot, even over to the burn warehouse over here. Got cars, can smell some food cooking, and can see some plants being sold. Beeping going on over there. This is that warehouse that we're on the other side of. Farmers market over there. And we are on Texamone Drive in front of NBT Bank Stadium, formerly known as Alliance Bank Stadium, and PNC Stadium, home of the Syracuse Mets, former Sky Chiefs, former Chiefs, identity crisis team. It is now the Mets, and we are going to go to a game sometime. And speaking of going to a game, there was at one point, and I am afraid we're too late now, that there was a station, a platform for OnTrack just over here. And the way I remember is it was the road closest to the stadium here, closest to the ballpark, in this pathway goes here. Just wetlands left. So while I'm okay with it being returned to wetlands, or returned to the wild, I wish that I had gotten down here to see it. If I can find a picture online, I will post it on the screen right now. It was just not ever used. Kind of unfortunate, but at least it got some toad croaking and stuff right now, and birds chirping around here, so it's kind of nice. It's mixed emotions. So it probably would have been cool to say I live in Jamesville and I'm gonna go to a ball game, leave your car down at Jamesville Beach, head over here. That would have been pretty wild. Unfortunately, it was never meant to be. In 2003, they could only justify running it 4 days a week. And in 2007, it actually just dropped to weekend service. The final blow, really, its ridership was down to 50 people a day when it was running, 2 days a week. Sad ending to something that was really cool. We're actually gonna go back to the Regional Transit Center, and I'll explain why this couldn't happen. At least not without a significant investment of funds for something that wasn't really pulling its weight as far as making money. So we're back over here now. Had to do a little backtracking just to explain why things didn't work out. It's because I think it was CSX at the time. It could have been Conrail. Whoever ran the freight line, that you can see the overpass for the roadway there, they proclaimed that after their studies, adding an additional rail on this side would have been cost prohibitive, and the idea that this was being dug up, maybe not the idea, but the actual practice of it being dug up and excavated, that was eroding this track that's right here still right now. And in this property right here, this section, for the longest time there was steel lying there for the tracks that never were built, and finally the city got rid of it, realizing that it wasn't going to happen, especially after they sold the 4 cars. So what happened right here behind me is what ended officially the hopes of OnTrack actually becoming something. Besides the decline in ridership, which is probably because it was never connected to a bus or train station, would have been really convenient for students to not have to take Centro or a taxi, or, I mean, Uber wasn't around then. It's unfortunate that it really all came down to this one section of track right here. And by now, if that was built and it became popular again, I mean, it could have gone all the way north to the airport, maybe, and maybe a continuous line. Maybe it could have been actually like part of this small city's infrastructure, which is odd to think about. And now they just all sit abandoned. It's kind of sad, but at least we have this history to look back on. So I wanted to get out here and record all these and document them before anything happens, like they tear them down and they're lost to history. But thank you anyway, on that grim note, thank you anyway for watching. If you did like this, once again, click like down below. If you want to support our channel, we don't do Patreon or anything, but click subscribe down below. Please do leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time on our next road trip.